There's a battle against disinformation on the front line in Ukraine.
TikTok є видно більшим півроком. Мене просто втомило наповнення.
Hacker's a soldier serving his country in the fight against Russia. The videos he's seen are pro-Kremlin, they discredit President Zelensky, and are trying to turn young Ukrainians away from fighting for their country. There are problems in Ukraine around conscription. Videos have emerged on socials that appear to show Ukrainian army recruiters carrying out raids near music venues to get them to forcibly fight for their country. Police there said they were targeting citizens who'd violated the law. Conscription in Ukraine means that by law you have to join the army and fight for your country once you turn 25, unless you've got a good reason not to. Ukraine's army is almost half the size of Russia's, so people being pushed away from being drafted to fight could really impact Ukraine. And that's the kind of content we found on TikTok. We've uncovered a series of videos repeatedly popping up on the For You pages of young Ukrainians, urging them not to fight and not to support their country in the war. It's content that's trying to get people to dodge the draft or draft dodge, deliberately urging people not to fight. It all follows reports Ukraine is short on troops and that even soldiers from other countries, including the UK, are on standby to help train up individuals. Some accounts we found on TikTok played on Ukrainians' emotions by showing videos of fallen soldiers, and others were there to try and discredit Ukraine's government entirely. One account even claimed you could avoid being conscripted altogether, but it would cost.
Як відкусити від армії, а потім через незрозумілі канали.
In Ukraine, you have to serve at least 6 months. Most contracts, though, are up to 3 years. And if you dodge the draft, you could go to jail for 5.
To some extent, what Russia is doing right now against conscription and mobilization is opportunistic because of some of strategic mistakes of the Ukrainian government and Ukrainian armed forces. You can obviously reduce the popularity of being recruited to the armed forces, and it's very smart.
Working with Ukrainian journalists and using a Ukrainian SIM, we were able to access TikTok there and were shown multiple videos telling us how to escape conscription. Accounts on TikTok linked to the Russian state and Putin are currently posting more than at any time during the war. Engagement on these posts, so that's likes, comments, reposts, is now higher than on X and Telegram. And this behaviour isn't new. These videos against conscription have been traced by our experts back to 2023. That's when Ukraine experienced blackouts as energy resources were impacted by the ongoing war.
Russian propaganda is actively conducting a background campaign to discredit the mobilization processes in Ukraine. And they are creating these videos which appear on TikTok. At the same time, in Telegram, they create the impression that mobilization is chaotic and without clear rules.
TikTok has already dismantled a network of almost 20,000 accounts, which they found to be operating from Russia to undermine the Ukrainian territorial recruitment. We showed TikTok the videos we'd found, and a spokesperson said they've taken aggressive action to combat misinformation related to the war in Ukraine, as well as launching media literacy campaigns to help people spot misinformation. But this is nothing new. Russia's already had a huge disinformation campaign on socials called Maiden 3, costing £1 billion. Disinformation exists on all sides, and Ukraine also have their own tactics when it comes to trying to undermine confidence in Russia.
Використовують це і псошно розганяючи, і підсилюючи наші настрої. І наше падіння морально-психологічного стану. Навіть якщо я все там підчищаю, не цікавить, видаляю, він знову мені кидає цю іпсошну